Okay, we're back with more math test prep. This is just a simple problem. Probably this would be one of your easier problems on a standardized test. But here's what happens, and I used to get this confused a lot because you see a fraction here and you're willing to automatically think reciprocal. Okay, but this sign, when it says p minus 1 1/4, that should not be a reciprocal, and you turn it into multiplication. This sign here says that you're supposed to subtract this value, 1 1/4, from p. But the problem is you don't know what p is. So that's why we're going ahead and solving it. Okay, so the instructions say go to the side that has the variable, that's this side, change the mixed fraction to a regular fraction, and here's what you do, and then it gives you the steps. So I'm just going to do them for you. Once again, there's my crooked hand, but here you go. Let's I'm going to do this part in purple. Okay, so you have 4 times 1. Okay, and this 4 times 1, and I'm going to use this as times 1, equals 4, and then when you get ready to add, you are adding plus 1. So you're going to get 5, and you keep the denominator the same. So it's 5/4. That's your new fraction. Okay, so when you move over, like I said, this is your new fraction, and your sign stays the same. Okay, over here, I just did the basic math and I took it without the sign, but I'm deliberately leaving the sign so that you can remember. Denominator stays the same, so it's 5/4. 5/4, p minus 5/4. Now, you're going to take the positive of this 5/4 to the other side. And why are you taking the positive over here? Because this is negative. This is negative. So since you're adding or subtracting, you're going to take positive 5/4 to both sides. So I have it on this side and this side. So we move on. And this is now 5/4 plus 19 over 20 equals p. And these are going to cross out. Okay? They're going to cancel out because you took this to the side, and this leaves p by itself. Okay, so I just wanted to show and emphasize this because sometimes I give these out as handouts and notes to students. So I made sure I did all the steps. Okay, now these are canceled. And this becomes p plus 0, or just p. What are we doing here? This denominator is 20 because you always take it to the lowest common denominator that you can do. Your teachers might also say, find the least common multiple. But this means LCD, lowest common denominator, the lowest you can do has to be 20. You can go ahead and do something fancy like 60 or 100, but then you're complicating the problem. And the reason is because this is 20, so this is 20. And then you have to make this 20. But what do? You make sure that now you get a multiple that can go towards this, and 4 times 5 is 20. And a lot of students are getting this confused. 4 times 5 is 20, and then 5 times 5 is 25, and that's where you got the 25. So I always tell my students, go get your partner, make him 5, or make him whatever number it is, make him 5, take him out, take her out, however your preference is, and then bring them back down. And make sure when you do, you multiply so you can get more people to come to your party. So here you're going to get 5 times the amount because 4 times 5 is 20. And I'm going to go on ahead and make that clear and make sure you understand, because a lot of people say, where are you getting that from again? Because 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, but here's the deal. 4 times 5 is 20, but 5 times 5 is 25. So you have to bring 25 here. Now you have 25 over 20 plus 19 over 20. Your problem's almost done. So when you add this 25 plus this 20, you're going to get 25 plus 19. 9 and 5 is 14. Carry your 1 is 3, and there's 44. And you keep your denominator the same, so it's 44 over 20. Now, let's suppose you don't have this answer on the exam. You're going to have to reduce it, and already you can see that, remember, there's a rule. Whenever something ends in 2 or 4, usually 2 can go into it. And these are both even numbers. Okay? So if they're both even numbers, we know that 2 can go into it, and most probably 4. Not always 6, not always 8. Because when I say can go into it, I mean can divide it. We want it divided equally. Okay? We don't want any remainders. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that here. No remainders. And we don't care if the numbers are even or odd. We just, for the answer, we just want no remainders. Okay, and this even numbers means that usually if you have an even number, it's usually 2 or 4 can be divided into it. Okay? All right, so now let's go. And so you have 44 over 20, and then 2 goes into both of those. So when you take 2 into 44, you get 22. Okay? And you don't have to do full math to do this, because you see that's 2, and that's going to come out even, no remainder. And then this is going to come out 2. And hey, since elementary school, 2 times 5 is 10, so you get 22 over 10. And if you do 2 again, you get 11 over 5. Okay, so you have 11 over 5. And I'm jumping ahead because you can also take 5 into 11, and you can get 2 up top. 5 times 2 is 10. Bring down a 1. When you have a fraction, you bring this boy down here, or this girl, whatever you want to call it, and you leave this 2 here. And that's how you get your mixed fraction. Okay, and this is the answer that was actually on the test sample we used. So this is now the answer, and if they didn't have that answer, they might have a decimal. But if you really want to think about what's going on with the decimal, what you would do here is you would go 5 into 11, and you go 2, 10, you have a remainder. So you put a dot here for your decimal, put a dot here, and it's always a 0. So you carry your 0 down, and you get 10. 5 times 2 is 10, and then it kind of comes out even. Or you could also go on ahead, and what some people do is 1/5 is 20. Okay? 1/5 of a pie when you were younger is 20%. Okay? So if you turn this into a decimal, this would be 220. Or 22. But here it's done for you. 22, 10, 0. And that's your decimal. Okay? And think about it. 5 into 11 is going to be 2. A lot of people want to say 2.5. Okay, but 5 into 11, a lot of people want to take this and say this is 2 and 1/5 or something, 2.5, but it really isn't. So your answer would either be 11 over 5 or 2 and 1/5, and rarely do they make you go on to the next level. That's our one video of today. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.